Hello and welcome to CIBER Focus, your source for international business information. I'm your host, Tim Smith, and our guest today is Mr. Raju Chinthala. Raju serves as Senior Advisor for India with the Indiana Economic Development Corporation and also as President and Founder of the Indiana-India Business Council. As the founder of the Indiana-India Business Council and a leader in multiple other internationally focused nonprofits, Raju has been a key player in the successful negotiations to encourage investments in the state by major Indian corporations, including a 2017 investment decision by Infosys Limited that will create 3,000 new jobs in Indianapolis by 2023. As a liaison, he has been the bridge between the two countries of India and the state of Indiana. Mr. Chinthala played a key role in establishing sister state relationships, both between Indiana and Karnataka in 2017, a relationship between Indianapolis and Hyderabad in 2010, and a sister city relationship between Columbus and Pune in 2018. Raju earned his master's degree in business administration from Indiana Wesleyan University, and both a master's degree in speech and hearing and a bachelor's degree in audiology and speech therapy from India. Raju, thank you so much for joining me today.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thanks for having me for this session.
Well, great. We've been wanting to have you join us for a while, so I'm so glad this has finally worked out.
Thank you. Thanks for making time, and I'm thrilled and excited to speak on the topic.
Great. Well, let's start with you. What a fascinating path you have followed, Raju, from speech pathology to international bridge builder. Maybe you could highlight your professional career path for us here to start.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Tim. And that's a good question. And a lot of people ask me that, how did I do that? It's a midlife, middle age right now. So when I came to the United States, I came here as a speech language pathologist to do my fellowship. I did my fellowship in swallowing disorders, dysphagia, mainly elderly folks, and cognitive disorders. So I practiced last 24 years in Indiana as a geriatric speech language pathologist specialized in swallowing disorders, and they're also called as a dysphagiologist. So during this course, I always had this vision, and I came from India, as you can tell me. I have connections in India, but in Indiana, as I live here, I made some good connections. And I really wanted to build some relationships between Indiana and India, or more specifically to Indianapolis, to another city. And that's what I was thinking about these things. And then 2008, Mayor Ballard became the mayor for Indianapolis. And one day he asked me to come to his office, and he shared his vision for making Indianapolis as a global city. What it means to be a global city is attracting talent, attracting students, but more important is connecting Indianapolis to other cities around the world.
Absolutely.
And he makes sure that not just relationships, but he makes sure industry, economic wise, we can make some difference. So he went to China for manufacturing, for India, IT and biosciences and agriculture. And he went to other cities like Brazil, UK, different industry sector. Then he assigned me a task to find a sister city relationship in India for Indianapolis, and that was between 2008 to 2010. And he wanted to go in 2010 that time. And then I worked with some committee here and looked at all the cities, and we shortlisted the cities and presented to the mayor. And the mayor selected Hyderabad as a sister city based on industries, also location-wise, and also ties and also elected officials' connections. So Hyderabad became a sister city in 2010. Mayor Ballard was the first mayor to visit India from Indianapolis. And you can imagine his vision and his leadership paid quite a bit in the long run. Of course, any relationships, it takes a while to build these relationships. When we go and build a relationship with the government, build relationship with the business leaders, building relationship with the community leaders, all those. So let me fast forward from there to 2020. During this time, I spent a lot of volunteer hours as a president of Indianapolis, Hyderabad Sister City Committee, traveling between Indiana and India, taking delegations. Doing all this in 2017, we landed the largest foreign direct investment from India in Indiana, that is Infosys. Infosys chose Indianapolis for the US Global Education Center. And that made me to look into options. What can I do more into full-time? Because doing the speech language pathology job and doing something as a president and CEO of India Business Council, it is difficult because it's taking a lot of time. And then luckily, Indiana Economic Development Corporation, my good friend, Secretary Jim Schellinger, offered me full-time job as a senior advisor for India to build more relationship, strengthen more ties between Indiana and India. And that's what I love my job. I'm so grateful for the governor, Eric Holcomb, who also traveled to India twice, actually, traveled twice. And Governor Holcomb says you cannot even spell Indiana without India, or without starting with India, or India in Indiana itself. I'm so humble and honored to represent state of Indiana, where I immigrated. Now I call this state as a home. Now I represent Indiana in India as their senior advisor. My job is market Indiana in India and attract more foreign companies from India to Indiana.
Excellent. Thank you, Raju, very much for walking us through where you are now, right? Thank you for that. I'd love to ask you, as president and founder of the India Business Council, tell us a little more about your organization and help us understand the current relationship between Indiana and India.
Yeah, that's a good question. When I started, a lot of friends didn't believe what I'm doing. And when I started this, I just started build those relationships, because looking at other countries, we have so many relationships. When I was working as Indianapolis, Hyderabad Sister City Committee president, people looked at, smaller city, Indianapolis as a city, Hyderabad as a city, but not as a state to country. That's the idea came up, and you can see the logo here, Indiana shaped map, and also India flag in Indiana. So we call India in Indiana. When I formed, a couple of friends got together, we formed the organization, but not very active. Today, we have finest board members on our India Business Council across the Indiana, including universities, including IU, Purdue, and Ball State. And more about is actually Mayor Ballard, who helped me to what I am today when I started all this volunteer work. And he is the board chairman now. And we have CEOs from around the country, the companies who have invested in Indiana as well as in India, both together. So we are very proud of that. Main is the India Business Council is a non-for-profit chamber of commerce. Our main mission is promote and strengthen economic, cultural, sports ties between Indiana and India. So we are the bridge between Indiana and India. So today we celebrate annual gala every year. This year, of course, due to pandemic, we postponed, canceled this year. We'll have next year. But we also created an award called Indiana Ratna. That means Jewel of Indiana, presented to somebody who lives in Indiana and made tremendous contributions to bridge these ties between Indiana and India. And first Indiana Ratna Award went to wonderful lady, Crystal Dehan, who has done a lot of work between Indiana and India on education. And then the second year annual Indiana Ratna went to Mayor Ballard, because he is the first mayor and actually went twice since 2010 and 13. So that's we bring the community leaders together. We celebrate annual. but more important is we put together, we bring the leaders together to make these ties and relationships matter between Indiana and India.
Thank you, Raju. I appreciate so much you using the word relationship. That seems to be the exact starting point, right? And
Absolutely.
business is all about relationships, in my opinion. So thank you for sharing with us and understanding that your decisions and your path has been built on starting building relationships.
Yes, means there were no relationships. I mean, before I took over this, and we didn't have much traction going on between India and India. But today, since last 10 years, so if you take it, Mayor Ballard visited in 2010, and today 2020, last 10 years, tremendous growth and opportunities between India and has made contributions. It has multiplied exports and imports in dollars. Actually, we are almost close to $1 billion export and import together between Indiana and India, whereas 10 years ago it was not even 200 million. So that shows we have companies coming and investing in Indiana from India, but also Indiana companies expanding their presence in India and doing very well across India.
Great. Thank you. So speaking of relationships and speaking of companies, I believe Infosys has now invested over $250 million in Indiana. Help us better understand the feedback you're receiving from Infosys as far as their understanding and take on the current relationship, and what's the next chapter of the relationship with Infosys perhaps going to look like?
No, the Infosys is a giant company. It's like a Microsoft of India. They are almost $12 billion company. When we approached them in 2016, actually, we met them in 2013 when during Mayor Ballard's visit to Hyderabad, and Ravi Kumar, who is the president of Infosys, hosted us in his campus. So since 2013, that relationship enriched into this whole thing, but also I should give a credit. I should not take a whole credit for myself, but I should give more credit for this, all the project. What happened is because of Secretary of Commerce, Jim Schallinger, who traveled 3 times. He's the first Secretary of Commerce to travel 4 times in less than 4 years. And his proactive and approach and making those relationships into fruitful, and that made, and also I would like to give credit to Governor Eric Holcomb. He's the first governor to go to India during this trade missions, and also also visited twice India. But Infosys could have gone to any place in US out of 50 states. But because of our relationship, because of Secretary of Commerce who visited their office in less than 13 days after their first meeting in Indiana, that made so much. We went speed of business. Our speed of business was equivalent to their speed of business. They were surprised. They said, "Oh my God, we've never seen a government executives approaching us so quickly and traveling to our headquarters and doing all this." That made make their decisions to invest in Indiana. They are the largest investor. Of course, they are building their US educational center. They're very proud of their selection, and also they are going to inaugurate this either this year or next year, the educational center, and it's creating 3,000 jobs in Indiana, investing $250 million in Indiana. That's a huge impact economically, and also our not just Indianapolis, but central Indiana itself, because people are going to live around the suburbs of Indianapolis. And we wish them best of luck to grow more and more so that they can create more jobs in Indiana further.
Great. I love learning about those win-win situations, right? When both parties, both members of the relationship are playing an active role and both are benefiting from it.
Absolutely. You are so right on that. Globe is shrinking. We are traveling, as you said, it's a global business is becoming a more important to attract talent and recruit the talent and retain the talent. but also skills are very important for all these jobs, high-tech jobs. Technology is changing every day. What it was yesterday, last month, the technology is not existing next month, and they are coming up with the new technology, new hardwares, new software, and it's becoming more and more easy for people to use this technology from anywhere from a 2-year-old to 103-year-old using this technology to communicate with friends and family, and also learn and educate themselves.
Yes, and to host interviews right in the midst of a global pandemic.
Yeah, you're sitting in your house and I'm sitting in my house and we are hosting a meeting.
Yes, we're inviting everyone into our homes these days, but that's okay, right?
Absolutely.
Raju, I read that you had said that government doesn't create jobs, but government can create an environment for international businesses to come and create jobs. And I really like that because you cited the nimbleness of the governor and Jim Schellinger and others who were willing to move quickly, right? Be a first mover. And that probably contributed greatly to the Infosys relationship bearing so much fruit. Tell me more about what you were thinking when you said that about government creating an environment for international businesses to come and create jobs.
As you know, the government does not create jobs in the sense, other than government jobs, they don't invest, or they don't into manufacturing, or they don't produce uh, agriculture, whether in any industry sector, they don't invest, they provide infrastructure. That is the main goal of government, to provide necessary innovation, infrastructure and technology, and also education, so that we are also manufacturing the talent required for these companies to come and do that. In order to do that, what I meant is government does not create private jobs. Private companies are the one who invest and create these jobs and recruit employees locally from universities as well as communities and community colleges. So the government, our state of Indiana has been wonderful government. I've been here in 24 years. I've seen that, and we have come a long, long way, and a lot of initiative, innovation. We are at the front of, ahead of many states in order to implement some of these technologies and infrastructure, whether it's roads, bridges, water, electricity, alternative energy, whether it's a 4G, 5G networking, whether it's education like universities creating the talent, and also retaining the talent and building the communities around the cities, working with the city mayors, very important. And people wants to work, live, grow their family, and be happy in the where they live. And that's why many people from other countries, they come and settle down in Indiana. They call this as a home, and we see a lot more diversity in Indiana than what it was 10 years ago.
Yes, indeed. And that diversity just adds to better solutions, better questions being created, and new opportunities from entrepreneurship and innovation to more economic benefit for each and every one of us.
You're right, absolutely. It's all about the jobs, creating the jobs, working families, so that we provide good education for our children, so that our children also they can go to our local colleges, and then they can come back and work here. And because we have so many jobs are created by, whether it's foreign direct investment companies, as well as the local Fortune 500 companies who are call Indiana as their headquarters.
Yes, indeed. And following up on that, since I represent an institution that is helping young people to learn and grow, I've asked several guests recently about advice. So Raju, what advice would you have for our students today and for young professionals who are seeking to have a global career?
As I said, that's a good question, and the students are very. I've been there. I've done it. When I moved here as after finishing my masters, I got job in U.S. I moved here and looking at not knowing what would be my future, but it's all about dreaming big, doing big, taking risks, traveling around the world, learning about other cultures, learning about other economies in the world, what works the best for economies and companies, and creating. And these companies come and go, but as around the globe, the innovation, research, what they are doing, they're implementing all over the world. Today we have technology companies, they are using, like for example, Airbnb doesn't own rooms, but they operate largest hotels in the world. Uber doesn't own taxis, but they operate the largest taxis in the world. Similarly, everything, including Amazon. Amazon does not manufacture or produce anything, but they sell the largest items, more items in around the world than anywhere else. So this is, who thought we will buy all these things sitting at using the desktop? So the globe is shrinking. People are shipping from other places. People are traveling. Internships are available around the world. Do internship, and also go to other country during your summer break, or do an internship at some of the local companies and learn more about the diversity they have it. Global careers are more worthwhile and more enjoyable if they like to travel and meet the people. I love meeting people. I experience different food and different cultures. I love to sit with the different people and learn about their families and their culture. That's more important. Open-minded. Learning never ends. Learning is not going to end at any time till our last breath. So it's very important. The global careers are so many opportunities in every industry and every sector. Population is increasing. Today we are 6.5 billion population. That means what? We need more things like food and items, manufacturing, using the technology. It's not reachable everywhere. Not many people are happy. I mean, not many people are able to use the technology that exists in a rural area, especially in countries where there is a more poverty, more hunger. These all are it's still going to go, but there is things that the students can look at it. There are Fortune 500 companies who are looking to hire them, grow them, nurture them. They can become tomorrow's leaders. Today's students are being tomorrow's leaders. Who knows? Some of them may go as government leaders or business leaders, and anything can happen from any of these younger students. And nowadays, more students are more smarter in investing their education, training themselves, using the technology, and also looking at the careers and traveling around the world. I think that's more important. And I wish all of them very best of luck to look at global careers.
Excellent. Thank you, Raju, for your advice, and thank you for your encouragement for our students and for students worldwide. When Thomas Friedman wrote the book about the world is flat, I think we're seeing that even more and more now, how connected we all are. May these connections lead to the solutions that the world needs the most.
You are exactly right, and there is so much, and education never ends. We are, are you just celebrating 200 years this year? Many of them are continue to grow. Students are going to go. Population is going to increase. We need more education, more innovation in the education also. How they can enrich their skills, and the more important is when they go out and find job, it's challenging. They need a mentors. They need somebody who can coach them during their career. So it's very important to have somebody who could coach them and mentor them and help them to choose the best options available in the world.
Yes, indeed. And that has been a big part of our recent changes at the Kelley School, putting more theory into practice, having more real problems to tackle from businesses, and our students able to be a part of the more relevant learning experiences, right? Get them involved with a company instead of discussing a business case from 10 years ago. Why not work to solve today's problems and help demonstrate to the companies how much value they would add if they join their organization?
Absolutely, you're right. And the challenges are different from what we see the companies are facing in Indiana or US, what the companies are facing in India and other parts of the world. Those are challenges. As I said, poverty is huge in India. unemployment is huge in India. Labor is so much now. Median age is 25 to 35 age. There are so much population is between 25 and 35. That means more talent is available. They are able to get their college degree and look for opportunities around the world. So similarly, yeah, look at it. We'd love to have as many people as working in Indiana, but if any of the students choose to go outside the country and look at it, important is to learn the culture, learn, of course, language if possible, and learn the how to live there, because those are the challenges. When you go there, it's not so comfortable. Like nothing replaces like home, nothing replaces in-person meeting. But again, these are the challenges. You take the risk, you get more benefit out of those opportunities.
Yes, indeed. And thank you, Raju, for all your thoughts shared with us today. I greatly appreciate your time, and we look forward to our next conversation.
Thank you, Tim. I enjoyed talking to you, and wish you good luck, and all your students also best of luck during these pandemic years. Many of them taking virtual classes, but hopefully they'll be able to travel next year and experience the world. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you, Raju. Have a great day. That's all the time we have for this edition of Cyber Focus. Thank you for tuning in. If you have any suggestions for future topics, please let us know at cyber, that's CIBER, @indiana.edu.